supposed to be a summer expedition and you're all wearing hats, right?
It is bloody freezing, Pete.
So looking at crossings from the mainland down to the Isle of Wight, we found Hurst Castle. Hurst Castle's got an amazing beach that we could land on, program the boat and then launch it out to the Needles. Now the Needles is a rock formation with a lighthouse on the end, and it's really cool, and we thought it would make a lovely backdrop for our actual mission. Winter is coming, it's late autumn now, and we've kind of run out of time and money and a bit of steam really. We can't do the world record attempt we wanted to do, but actually we're really keen to try and make some kind of crossing to see that and prove that we can do it. And if we can do that, then we can prove that we have got a boat that is capable of going on this SeaQuest adventure and hopefully one day getting us a world record.
I mean, the 3D printing takes a very long time, but there is no way that we could have, over a 4-month period, built 12 boats any other way. And what you seem to forget is that the mechanical aspect of putting these boats together is another step, and then you've got the electronics on top. So there's a lot of resource that's required, and I would say probably that's the biggest problem, is that projects like this are usually very long hobbyist projects or very big team projects, and I think doing it part-time, that was probably the biggest challenge. I was very proud when it set on fire. that was very, very fun. When it set on fire, that was probably the morale uplift that we had. When it set on fire the third time, it was still funny. So you have to experiment, and this is a consequence of experimenting.
This has been an amazing journey so far, and we spent loads of time together. So the team has been great, working with the team, having a laugh. Without them, I couldn't have made the project happen at all. It's just been brilliant. It's an engineering challenge, you know, we're selling components to engineers. It's showing how engineering and rapid prototyping can in real time, if you like, in action. And so it's something that I think that a lot of people can relate to in their day jobs, you know, just rapid prototyping, hacking things together, testing things, trialing them, getting them out.
Just shove it in there, Ken.
It's great for young engineers who are interested in getting into engineering, so maybe school kids or university level, you know, and what we want to show is that, you know, engineering is fun. You get to, you know, I've worked with some amazing people, it's very inspirational, and we've created something from an idea.
Do you want me to pick it up and move it around, or?
Nice. Oh, I don't know, there have been so many fun parts of it. I say I enjoy the overall teamwork, and I was pleased that I wasn't seasick when we went to Brownsea. That was a major challenge, I thought, but Brownsea was like a mill pond when we were there. It was like we've had rougher days at Beale Park than we did at Brownsea, so maybe I have that challenge to come.
You got no switch on the outside of these things?
There's no. It's
Okay, well, look, we'll find out whether we can.
There's no waterproof.
If there's
Don't video.
Yeah, definitely video Gary's wonderful waterproof
preparation
design.
is the key to these
This is not
things.
my design.
Right.
The night before we made the crossing attempt to the Isle of Wight was another late one. We spent quite a long time tinkering with the boats, trying to get them ready. One was Marlin, orange and white, and the other one was Ray, blue and white. And both of them were in good condition. They both worked, and everything looked good.
I'm not planning on getting wet today, guys.
Dory, is that go?
70%, zoom level 17.
So we're here in Leamington, UK, and this is Hurst Castle. and this is the start point of our SeaQuest mission. We're going to put Marlin in the water in a minute, and we're going to see how far he goes. Hopefully we've programmed him up correctly and he's going to navigate all the currents and right across all the way to Alum Bay on the Isle of Wight, potentially around the Needles as well if it's not too choppy, but we'll see, and watch this space.
So over the period of the project we built quite a few boats. So we actually took out Ray and Marlin, and you can see Ray here, which is the blue and white one cutting through the waves. Both of them were autonomous, both of them had radio gear to override. We can actually take control of them if they get into trouble, or if they go anywhere near where they shouldn't, or if another boat comes along, we can easily take action and stop or move them out of the way. They did actually do quite well. The headway into the winds and into the tides and into the currents, they coped relatively well. Things were going well for Ray, and he was steaming ahead through the waves, but all of a sudden, nothing. So basically Ray had managed to pick up some silt, or some like weed from the ocean, and it got stuck into the prop. And ultimately, they are prototypes, and we are testing, and they're not always perfect. The sea is such an unpredictable place. We'd been in a lake, we'd been on the river, we'd been in our bathtubs, but actually getting out onto the ocean, now that was the real challenge. So here we go again, attempt 2. So we dropped Marlin off the side and used the remote control to get him into position and switch over to autopilot. But nothing. For some reason, we couldn't get a GPS heading on him. He just sat there. You could see the disappointment on everyone's faces. It was time now to go back to the shore and give Ray another go. So this is it, our last attempt. 18 months of work down to this. We have to make it across. So we knew we weren't going to get the world record today, but what we really wanted to do was get across the Solent. That would prove that we could go 10 miles with this boat. And although that was probably only a fifth of what we needed to do for the world record attempt, just getting across that Solent in those conditions would have, show that we had a viable boat, that would work. As we released Ray into the water, loads of memories come flooding back. The hours of work that have gone in, the testing, the fun, the blood, the tears, the drama, but it's all been worth it to get to this point. So we left the shores of Hurst Castle to go across to the Isle of Wight. We started to relax, had a cup of tea, got out the biscuits, and followed the boat. Things were going really well. In places there were some quite big swells. It's deceiving actually when you see it on the video to compare to actually in reality how rough the water can actually be. The wind, the swell, it's quite a lot for a little boat to cope with to try and get across through those currents. As the boats made their way across the Solent, they were hitting around 4 to 5 knots. So we were relatively pleased with that. That was a good speed. They were getting bashed around a bit by the swells and the waves, but performing pretty well. And then all of a sudden, he stopped. And, and we had to get out of the water. The torque of the motor had basically snapped the 3D printed part holding the motor in place. This tiny piece of plastic had stopped our mission in our tracks. So we had to basically get Marlin and take him to pieces to try and fix Ray, and then get Ray back into the water and send him on his way back up to the Isle of Wight. And it wasn't easy, but we were all super motivated to make it work. Although we weren't going to get the world record, we just wanted to prove that we could actually make a crossing. We decided, because we'd already got a fair way across, we would just fix him and put him back in the water. We just basically hacked it together. We were so determined to get this thing across and prove to everybody that we had a boat that was capable of making a crossing on the sea. Everybody was just so fired up, and even though we kind of had failed, to get a crossing without taking it out of the water, we knew that we just had to get across, and just taking it out and fixing it on the way was the way forward. So 18 months, about 12 boats and kilograms worth of PLA went into this, as well as loads of electronics and batteries. But disappointingly, we didn't get a world record. And that's a real shame, because, we spent a lot of time and effort on the project, but we had so many challenges, engineering challenges that we had to overcome. It got to the point where, we just had to finish it. And we didn't have a boat that was kind of up to the world record that we needed to set. Going to the Solent and crossing to the Isle of Wight was a big test. Unfortunately, again, we failed there, but we failed and we found the problems. So despite all the problems we had, we did get a boat across the sea, and we had a great time, as we kept rebuilding the boats to make them work. And this has truly been an adventure, a quest even, a SeaQuest, and we've pretty much loved every minute of it.
Right, did you get a notification? You're recording. Right, you're recording. So here we go. We've got the team together. Guys, it's been it's a year ago.
So basically, what you're saying is that we've been on these prescriptions for a year now.
Obviously, we didn't make it. We didn't get a world record.
We didn't get a world record yet.
Well, that's the thing, right? What will we need to do to make this work, guys? What do you think? What were we missing? Why didn't it work?
Yeah, in terms of boats, the bigger the better. Small boats are a challenge. I think we as we tried to make it more and more of a model, then we actually increased the challenge for ourselves.
I think there's only a few fundamental things to fix, right? I think if it was slightly bigger, if Alice was right, we got the motor sorted and we put it on the right throttle speed, I reckon you could do it. I reckon you could.
Right, so basically, we done everything differently.
I can't believe we got away with putting an RSJ in a 3D print for that.
It was fun. I really enjoyed myself. You guys have been brilliant. It was great, and it was.
Oh yeah.
If you ever call me up with anything to do with a fucking boat again?
I have to agree with Gary that I will never work with any of you ever again after this. Until Pete phones me up and says, "Hey, we're doing a milk float to Paris," and then I'll probably I'll probably be with you again. So sorry about that.
Honestly, it just brings a smile to my face to think what a fantastic time we had together. Maybe, like I say, in the future we can.
We'll be back. Well, we'll be round at about 15 then.
Yeah.